The first tip I want to tell you is if you're going to be dating someone, you want to be upfront about your celibacy. It's something that you don't want to hide or conceal, because here's the thing. You want to know, first of all, if this person's going to be receptive, if they're going to receive you being celibate. A lot of people are afraid to let people know that they're celibate whenever they're trying to date someone, because they're afraid that, oh, this person might not want to date me because they know that I'm celibate. Well, here's the thing. Do you really want to date someone who's not comfortable with you being celibate? That means they're not willing to, allow you to preserve yourself. And if they cannot be mature enough to understand that you're not going to be having sex, and that's a deal breaker for them, then that's something that you don't want. That's someone you don't want around in your life anyway, because they're not going to be able to remain patient and accept the fact that you're celibate. This is a person who's going to try and pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do, and most likely it would not work anyway. So you want to let the person know right away, hey, I'm celibate. I've decided to preserve myself sexually until I meet my spouse or my soulmate or whatever. And you don't really have to go into full details. Just let them know that, I've chosen not to have sex. So if your expectation is for us to have sex throughout this dating period, then I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. So you want to put that out there ahead of time so you can give this person an option of whether or not they still want to date you. Now, some people might be like, hey, that's a deal breaker for me because they're expecting to have sex and they want to date someone who they know that they can have sex with. And that's okay. That's their preference. This is why you give them the option up front so that they can make their own choices and decisions. You don't want to mislead them and have them come into this dating thing with you thinking that there's an option or on the table that there's a possibility that you all will be able to become intimate. So you don't want to deceive the person. You don't want to hide that. So you do want to let them know up front. So therefore, there won't be any disappointments on either end. And so if you do find someone who's mature enough to understand that, they still want to get to know you, they still want to see who you are as a person and date you, despite the fact that you're not willing to become intimate with them and give your body to them, then that's great. Now, some people, they might make it seem as if they're okay with not having sex, but they might have some ulterior motives. I've met some people like that, where they'll still try to subtly pressure you into, or they might have this hope in the back of their heads that maybe this person's not really serious and I can get them in bed. You'll know those types. It's best to cut that off right away. Now, after you've let them know up front, hey, I'm not getting intimate with anyone. I'm not having sex, but I would still love to date you. I would love to get to know you and have fun. We can do things. Okay, you have set the expectation. You put out the parameters. You set the parameters and put out boundaries up front. So that's the mature and responsible thing to do. So if this person is okay with that, great. Now you can go ahead and proceed to start dating this person. Now, the second tip here, in order to remain celibate while dating. Now, when you guys start dating, you want to stick to public family places. You want to stick to places where, there's no possibility of the two of you becoming intimate. There's no chance whatsoever. There's no temptation. Well, there might be a small temptation, but the possibility of you two having sex is very unlikely. It's highly unlikely. So I would say places like maybe a miniature golf. I mean, a lot of people like to go golfing, or maybe kayaking. Or you can go to a beach on a day when it's crowded and it's during the day when families are out and people are about. You can go to the museum, and if you like art, if you have to get to know what he likes. Or maybe you want to go and listen to a live band, or go to a comedy club, somewhere that there are people around you and there's no possibility or chance of you becoming tempted or you having a chance to actually sneak away and have sex with this person. So you want to stay in locations where it's a public location, it's a family setting. And if it's best for you, if you have other friends or you have someone in, people or family members who are in relationships, you can actually have group dating. So you can go bowling in a group setting. It could be like a group date where you take everybody along, but you two still have a chance to sit down, get to talk, get to know each other, and find out your common interests to see if you're compatible with each other. So that's the thing. You want to stay in places, you want to put yourself in a situation where you're not going to become tempted to have sex with this person. There's no Netflix and chilling. So you're not taking them back to the home and watching a movie alone, because you know how that can lead up to something else. Okay. So That is the second tip. You want to avoid being alone with this person. You want to keep them in a public setting where there are other people around, or take them on a group date and just get a chance to like pull them aside sometimes and whenever you can throughout the evening or day and talk to them. See what they're about. See what's on their mind. Now, my third tip here is you want to kind of refrain from talking about sex. Now, having adult conversations about sex, such as why you believe sex is important for someone who's married, or why you've chosen to make the decision to not have sex before marriage, that's okay. But you don't want to talk about things like what's your favorite position, or, how is somebody in bed. You want to refrain from talking about topics that are going to tempt you to want to have sex, or that's going to put a seed in your head and plant a seed for you to want to become intimate with this person. Because remember, your objective here is to get to know this person without becoming physical with them. Because see, when you become physical with a person, it can actually alter your perception of them in a different way. Okay, you could actually think of this person and think more highly of them than what they are. You can have this fabrication in your mind that controls your emotions. You can have false emotions that are derived from lust and sex. It's not true love. You could think that you're in love with this person. You could think that you have strong feelings for someone because you have chosen to become intimate with that person. But these feelings are actually false, and it's not true love. It's something that's based off of sex. And sometimes lust can actually mirror love, but it's not the authentic thing. It's not love at all. It's just sex. Because if you take sex away and you people don't have anything else in common, or there's nothing else that will keep you together, then then that there's no love. It's not caring or loving for someone. It's just sex. So it's best to not even jump into sex early on. It's best to get to know the person and wait, because again, sex kind of alters your perception of the relationship. It alters your perception of the person, and it's an illusion. It gives you a false. It's a misconception that you're feeling something about someone, and like I said, it's just that the sex is good. That could be it. You just have great sex. You have a strong chemistry with this person. Now, even though you're doing this, I'm not going to say that all these steps are foolproof to the point where you will never have temptations. Okay, you're adults, and if you have a strong attraction to one another and there's chemistry, of course, yeah, you're going to be wanting to have sex with this person. But again, you have to think about, why have I chosen to become celibate? What does my celibacy mean to me? And am I ready to jeopardize or risk my celibacy for one night of passion? What if I decide to have sex with this person, give up my celibacy, and it doesn't work out, and they decide after we have sex that they don't want to be bothered, or I decide I don't even like them anymore? Then you have just given up your celibacy. You have just given up something that was sacred to you, something that meant a big deal to you, for what? Just a couple hours in the bed? Or probably not even that long. The thing is, you have to go into this with your determination and your focus on what you want. It's your goal. Your goal is to maintain your celibacy, because that is something that is important to you. Again, like I said, when you have sex, you're giving away your power. That is your power. You hold your leverage now, because you have decided that you're going to keep something precious and sacred for yourself until you're ready to give that up at the right moment and for the right person. So these are a few of the tips that I feel that could actually work for you. So just let me know if this is something you like, or if you want some more things on how to remain celibate. That's great. I do believe that the longer you become celibate, like the more you do it, the easier it becomes. It's something that, yes, in the beginning, if you're used to having sex, it's hard, it's very difficult. But once you have kind of suppressed that desire, then it's just like second nature. It's almost like breathing. You don't even really think about it anymore. It's like the longer you've gone without it, it's like it becomes easier to go without it until you're ready for that person. You're ready to make that decision to have sex and give it to that special someone, which should most likely be your spouse.